Yuba-Sutter.LIVE's local government live streams are presented by Plumas Lake Self-Storage in Plumas Lake, where lifelong local residents are helping other residents keep things safe, providing indoor storage units, outdoor RV and vehicle parking, moving supplies, and Penske truck rentals. Details at plumaslakeselfstorage.com.
Hi, I'm Neil Goforth of Comfort Keepers of Yuba, Sutter, and Nevada counties. Caring for elders or even yourself has challenges. Comfort Keepers of Yuba, Sutter, and Nevada counties can help you address today's issues and plan for tomorrow with in-home and specialized care for you or your family members. Call us at 530-749-8800. Comfort Keepers of Yuba, Sutter, and Nevada counties.
Okay. We now have two presentations. Timothy McGee will be representing the grand jury foreperson. Okay, Timothy. Yeah. Each year, the California 58 counties, 19 original citizens take an oath to voluntarily serve a term of 1 year as a grand juror. The grand jury have been in existence since the adoption of California's original constitution in 1849 to 1850. The grand jury conducts their investigation under the auspice of Superior Court of California and have broad access to public officials, employees, records, and information. One of the most important functions of the grand jury is to review the operations of the officers, departments, and agencies of local government and are charged with the investigating and reporting on local government operations to assure that their responsibilities are being fulfilled legally, efficiently, honestly, and with the best interest of the public. Grand juries serve as a watchdog authority and are well suited to effectively investigate the local government because they are independent bodies originally separate from the entities of the official they investigate. The grand jury fact-finding efforts result in the report that contains specific recommendations aimed at identifying problems and officiating ways to improve government operations and enhancing representatives, and hard work done by the grand jury has been greatly effective on the communities that make California a better place to live. The Sutter County Board of Supervisors hereby proclaim the month of February as Grand Jury Awareness Month in Sutter County, encouraging everyone to observe this month by recognizing the efforts of those jurors, both past and present, who have volunteered their time and served the Sutter County Grand Jury. Tim, would you like to say a few words?
Pardon me?
Would you like to say a few words?
No, I would just like to say thank you for the privilege of serving.
Well, I'd like to thank the grand jury for all their past efforts and their work. You know, you guys always have insight and issues to present to the board, and the board always listens to your comments and always comments back on it and reports back to the grand jury, and we appreciate that work you guys have done for years. There's a proclamation.
You know, I've mentioned this before, but I think it's, you know, growing in importance in that because we have a somewhat diminishing journalism, papers, all those things that used to do a lot of that investigating, it is even more critical now for the grand juries to do the work that they do. And so we all very much appreciate what you do. And look, we look forward to it because if we're missing something, you guys are going to catch it, right? So we appreciate it. So thank you.
So Tim, I got a question. So none of you guys are paid, and how many hours a year would you say you guys put into this between your research and your meetings? Maybe that's the question you don't want to answer.
All I can honestly say is it's a lot. It's kind of like it's supposed to be after your full-time job kind of thing. They say 2 to 6 hours a week, but it's way more than that.
If you're going to said about this job.
Yeah, right. Same thing. Okay. But if you're going to actually do the job and you're actually going to try to do justice to it, you got to put in the time, and that's what it's about. And most of the people that I could speak for this year and last year, totally dedicated to trying to do a good job.
Thank you, Tim. Any other comments? Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have Teen Dating Violence Awareness and Prevention Month, February 2024. Females between the ages of 16 and 24 are more vulnerable to intimate partners, violence, experiencing abuse. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't even read your name, sorry. Yeah.
My name is Magdalena. I'm the program director at Casa de Esperanza.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm sorry about that. I got ahead of myself. Okay, we did that. Okay. High school students who experience physical violence in dating relationships are more likely to use drugs, alcohol, and greater risk of suicide, and are much more likely to carry patterns of abuse into future relationships. And young people victimized by the partners are more likely to engage in risky sexual behavior, unhealthy dieting behaviors, and experiences may disrupt normal development and self-esteem and body image. And where nearly half of the teens experiencing dating violence report that incidents of abuse took place in a school building or on school grounds. And only 33% of teens who are abused relationships ever turn anyone about the abuse. 81% of the parents survived. Either believe teen dating violence is not an issue or admit that they did not know if it is one. And by providing young people the education about healthy relationships and relationships skilled by the challenges and attitudes that support violence, we recognize that dating violence can be prevented, and it is essential to raise the community awareness and provide training for teachers, counselors, and school staff so that they may recognize when youth are exhibiting signs of dating violence. And the establishment of Teen Dating Violence Awareness and Prevention Month will benefit your people and their families and schools and communities regarding the socioeconomic status, gender, sexual orientation, or ethnicity. Everyone has the right to safe, healthy relationships and to be free from abuse. Therefore, be it proclaimed that Sutter County Board of Supervisors do hereby proclaim February 24th as Teen Dating Violence Awareness and Prevention Month throughout Sutter County. We urge that all residents to work towards ending teen dating violence and empowering young people to develop their healthy relationships, assisting victims and assisting their information and support services they need. Create better and more resources for young people in the need instituting effective intervention and prevention policies in schools and engaging in dissection of families, members, and peers to promote awareness and prevention of especially of teen dating violence.
Thank you. Thank you. I just wanted to say thank you for the support that we get from Sutter County and the community. CASA is still growing, and we're still trying to do more in the community. I don't know if any of you have heard, but we do have a website now, CASAYSC.org, and it also has a chat function to reach that younger demographic. So we are definitely still here and still here to support everyone that needs our help.
I want to encourage those, check out their website. We are so lucky to have Casa de Esperanza here and what they do for the ladies in this community. And not just the ladies at all, I mean, just everyone. And whenever they have their fundraisers, please go to their fundraisers because that helps out so much in what they do. And they do a Mother's Day, you do the Mother's Day brunch. And it's a really, truly, it's a fun event. Look it up, try to put it on the calendar. And thank you so much for what you guys do. It's a lot of work. It's a 24-hour job. And because it's out there 24 hours, but amazing work. I just want to comment really fast on, I didn't comment before, but you guys have 100% respect from us. I mean, we truly love what you do on the grand jury. Keep on doing it. Try to encourage others to do it. because I know what it's like, because I've talked to others that, they've done it. They said, man, it's so much work, Mike. But it's imperative that people want to jump in, put in their year, and I believe you could serve up to 2. So 2 years, but great job with keeping up with it, and hopefully you just keep on going, and it just keeps on handed over and continues to build momentum where you got a waiting list. Thank you.
And thank you, CASA, for all your work to do in both counties. Thank you. Okay. Okay. Members of the public, for public comment. Members of the public have been allowed to address the board on items of interest to the public that are within the subject matter and jurisdiction of the Board of Supervisors. State law provides that no discussion or action may be taken under any item not appearing on the posted agenda. We are going to do a little change today. We're going to move up Shelby Westall Tessin will present this item on the broadband, which is this brochure right here. Is she here? Oh, yeah. Oh, there. Can you please come forward to the lectern over there? And so GSFA is part of the Golden State and Finance Authority and RCRC, and they are spearheading a feasibility and planning study for broadband in our rural communities in Sutter County. Your floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Again, I'm Shelley Westall. I'm with Tilson Technology. Tilson Technology was engaged by the GSFA to prepare a broadband feasibility and study for Sutter County, and I'm really excited to be here. Thank you again for accommodating my odd schedule today. In our analysis, Tilson really looked at a number of things that affect the broadband ecosystem in the county. We looked at existing fiber routes, cable routes, where services are, the service areas of internet service providers, the services that they provide and the technology and the costs. We also looked at the locations where people have service and most importantly, do not have service. And we also analyzed that along with the funding landscape, the current funding landscape. And really the focus of our analysis is how can Sutter County take advantage of the current funding pools of money in order to build out to those unserved community members. And our findings and the analysis really inform the recommendations that are specific for your county. So partner recognition, the funding for our efforts came from the U.S. Department of Commerce Economic Development Administration. They funded it. And then, of course, the Golden State Finance Authority, which managed the contract on behalf of its member counties. And the purpose today is just to give you a quick highlight of the feasibility study. And we hope that you'll be able to use it as an informational guide to really help you understand what exists in the county and where the opportunities for improving the deployment of broadband exist. So we did a couple of things with the help of our state partners. And Tilson did a series of targeted survey questionnaires to local businesses, local internet service providers, and community anchor institutions. So the Chambers of Commerce and the GFSA helped us with our survey to the local businesses. Internet service providers, we gathered those from the FCC list, which is now a requirement that anyone providing internet services report to the FCC. And then we used the work of the CPUC for community anchor institutions. And the results of those surveys are in section 3 of the study. So this is a little out of order, but I talked about our research, outreach, and engagement process. And then I'm going to provide you with a little bit of an outline of the study itself and then next steps. So we really wrote the study with the hope that it could be used by everyone, regardless of their comfort level with broadband. So part of our effort was to outline the document and provide some of that necessary upfront information in the executive summary. So the document's a little lengthy. It's over 200 pages. So if you have a specific interest or are looking for specific information, you can check the executive summary, and that will help you find where in the document you'll get that information. Section 2 is really an overview of broadband, the terminology, the technology, everything you need to understand to understand the future sections of the document. 3 is the current and future needs assessment. This is really what is preventing the adoption of broadband. Why aren't areas of the county covered, and how can we change that? Number 4 is the analysis of the market. This is where you'll find the information about internet service providers operating in the county. Number 5 is the asset inventory, and that really is where there are middle mile activities that are happening now at the state level. There are also providers that offer their own middle mile that might be leveraged in order to build out to unserved areas of the county, and that's where you're going to get this detailed information. And I should also say that along the way, we do provide maps and charts so that you can get a better understanding. Tilson has also provided, because the maps are a little one-dimensional, a little static, and I will say not great when you're trying to read and understand this information, we've provided a web platform so that you can scroll and dig a little bit deeper and conduct your own analysis. Number 6, and I have a slide on the broadband funding strategies, but this really kind of gives you an idea of where the funding currently is. And it is in transition, so I'm not going to, on my slide, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail because it is in transition, both at the state level and then, of course, with the upcoming BEAD funding. There are things that the state has to do in order to prepare for BEAD, and they are doing that in process. Number 7 really talks about what is a healthy broadband deployment environment, and how can we improve the ecosystem so that we can get internet and broadband out to those areas that are currently unserved. And of course, digital inclusion considerations builds on the ideas that were expressed in Section 3. And then, of course, what is a smart community? This is an outcome of the proliferation of broadband and some of the activities that can occur that will help drive efficiency and are co-authored by citizens and government, and can help set priorities for the future when it comes to technology. And finally, of course, our recommendations and next steps that can be considered. There we go. Thank you. This is just a quick overview of the funding, and as I mentioned, it changes almost daily. The NTIA, which manages the BEAD funding process, is also going through kind of their rulemaking and definitions building on the fly. So things change with that daily. And then, of course, the state of California has to do some things in order to get prepared for BEAD funding and the distribution of the funds. And this is just an overview of the connected communities. And it really is looking at technologies that can enhance the quality of life for everyone in the county. And it's rife with possibilities for engaging community members. We like to talk about it because it really does give opportunities for setting priorities for the county. And then the next step. I think we've already done this, but we delivered a draft version of the study. we were seeking input to make sure that we got everything right from your perspective. We addressed those issues, and the final study has been delivered along with the link to the platform, and we really hope that you'll take the opportunity to take a look at it. We did invest a lot of work, wanted to make sure that this was a study that would give you what you need for your future plans with regard to broadband. And that is the conclusion of my presentation.
Okay. Any questions for Shelby?
Through the chair.
Yeah.
So quick question for you. For us, it sure sounds like the commitment of the funding is still fluid, right? We're not haven't had that figured out. So obviously we're not going to be able to commit to something, but do you have any idea of in the near future of when that might get settled, or we have some sort of structure from the state?
Yeah, I think at the state level, I'm not sure of your timing, but I would imagine they're going to work through that pretty quick. There's a lot of money here that both the state that's coming through the state for programs like FFA or BEAD, and they'll want to get that settled as quickly. There's a pretty close, pretty defined timeline for the BEAD funding. There's a series of documents that the state has to provide. The upcoming next step, and this is the one that I think is really important that everybody pay attention to, and that is the challenge process. So in the past, the FCC has had a not great reputation for showing us where service is and is not. They changed some of that in the past, and now providers, there is a penalty if the information is incorrect. But they're still working on developing it in a way that is really useful to communities to identify areas that are unserved. With BEAD, the funding goes first in a waterfall kind of effect where they'll fund unserved locations first. If there's money remaining, then they'll do the underserved locations. And then if there's money after that, then they can go to those community anchor institutions that I mentioned in the beginning. And so the definition of what is served and what is unserved is really important to track. And each funding program, to make it really simple, each funding program has a different definition. And so it's really important to track and watch those and make sure that when that challenge period opens, if you have locations that you know aren't getting the service that the FCC thinks they're getting, that the challenge is made.
One more quick question for you. So sorry, I'm trying to flip back to the slide you had there. So when you were talking about whether it was tribes or whatever it was, as far as, is that tax breaks, or how exactly does that work? Can you flip back to that? Yeah.
Because there is a tribal broadband connectivity program.
Okay.
Probably is on the funding page. And most of those, most of them are already funded. There's a pool of money that comes through.
Okay.
It'll come through the state like the BEAD funding does. Mm-hmm. It'll come through the state. They have to develop a program for a grant application cycle. And then there will be certain criteria and scoring that are met through for each program, because each program will have slightly different rules around what they want to see weighed in the application review process.
Depending on demographics and population, I'm assuming, right?
All sorts of things. It'll be speeds, so whether it's 25/3 megabytes per second, might be 100/20 megabytes per second. It could be how they view unserved. Those can be slightly different as well.
Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Through the chair, I believe this question would be more geared towards Neil and race communications. So I assumed race communications was out doing this whole broadband structure.
Good afternoon. So Race Communications, they've been receiving encroachment permits from our jurisdiction, the county, in order to install fiber optic lines in various parts of the city and the county.
All right. So now, talking with those individuals, when broadband or, look, when this does go in, it's going to run up and down the streets and so forth, but the whole connections, that's the question a lot of people have questions on, is they're being told that going from their home to the pole is going to be up to the homeowner. So here I see last mile provides internet connections to home and so forth. So I'm just curious how that's going to work. It's just, when you look at districts like Matt's and mine, I have Meridian, he has Robbins and Winship areas and so forth. And you have these little communities that have no internet. So they utilize the schools because they don't have internet at home. So the schools stay open just a little later so those kids can stay there and do their homework and so forth. So, we saw this during COVID. The schools opening up their gyms for kids to go in. But it happens all the time. It's not just during COVID. Kids stay at school so they can get on the internet and get their stuff done because they don't have access to that in those areas. So is this something that is, how far out could this be?
Well, ideally, BEAD. So the restriction with BEAD is really the amount of funding. Will it reach all of those pockets of unserved? And that is the question. But the intention is that it will get all of the unserved across America. But it's a lot of, that's a lot of money. There will still be gaps in service, I'm assuming, in some of the high-cost areas, which is a particular designation under the BEAD program. They will allow different technology in order to fill the gap. So they are looking at ways to address some of the areas that will be really super challenging to get to.
So like my colleague mentioned earlier, this is all fluid and so forth. So this is, it's moving. So, could it be a year out, 2 years out, 3 years out? What do we?
It should be pretty quick. I can't remember off the top of my head. I want to say 2028 is when the program ends. I could be wrong, and I will clarify and make sure Ken gets that information for you. But it is moving, particularly with BEAD. It is moving pretty quickly because they want to get the funding out and get the infrastructure in place so people aren't going without broadband for any longer than necessary.
Thank you.
So hopefully we'll have an update maybe in a couple months, or?
Yes.
Go ahead, Ken.
So as was mentioned, the actual full plan is pretty much getting finalized. It's a 290-page document, the full study. We'll get that up online, and we'll provide that to the entire board, and so the public can access it as well. And I just was wanting to help out Neil with the race communications question. I've looked into it as well. That's totally separate from what we're doing here with what race is doing. So I think if we want to find out the details on what they're offering to our residents, we can do that. I've looked at a couple of quotes, and I wasn't quoted any installation fees, so
Okay, I just want to look into it because I'm not happy with race and how they trenched up our roads in my community of Sutter, and then did a horrible job of patching it up. It's embarrassing. So, and I just want to make sure we took these beautiful roads, which we actually have some in Sutter County, and trenched these 4-inch trenches, and then did a horrible job of patching them up. And so I get daily reminders on that.
Gotcha. But rest assured, we have a lot of irons in the fire. We've got our eyes out for every opportunity for funding that we can jump on.
Good.
And we're working with RCRC, which, they're great partners. We're part of Golden State Connect Authority, which is the 40 rural counties in California. So we're doing this collectively and identifying every opportunity we can. So as far as when the next steps are happening, the very next thing is the finalized plan, which you'll all be receiving, and that we'll put up online. And then the next thing that we're doing with RCRC, Golden State Connect Authority, Tilson is working on low-level designs, and so those are in process right now, meaning they're developing fiber layouts and fiber plans for basically underserved areas in our county, and then from there, then we go to the next step. So there's just so many different things going on with broadband that we're involved in. Sorry.
Thank you.
Sorry, go ahead. Just one question. How does this project relate to the $13 million Comcast grant application? Does it relate at all?
Well, I don't think what we're doing is necessarily tied to what Comcast is doing, but I know from what I understand, Comcast has also applied for some sort of grant funding for broadband, and obviously we support broadband everywhere in our county, and any company that's trying to take advantage of federal funding or state funding to improve broadband in our county, we're going to support that.
Okay, so unrelated, but it's a different.
Unrelated, but I would assume it'd be part of this whole process of here's a lot of funding available for rural counties, so let's all take advantage of it and build up our county.
Great, thank you, Ken.
Thank you, Ken.
Through the chair.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, just one quick comment. Just thank you again for your presentation, and want to thank Supervisor Ziegemeier for making the perfect argument of why we should keep our Sutter County Library open for children to be able to have Wi-Fi and do their homework and research. So anyways, that's all. Thanks.
I'd just like to say several things. Thank you, Shelby, for coming. It is really critical that we do have this infrastructure in our rural communities. Like, for example, where I went to East Nicholas High School, about 140 kids in district, 150 square miles. Very difficult. Even though it's flat land, you'd think it'd be really easy to get internet. It doesn't always work very well, and that became very apparent during COVID, trying to do education, like Mike was talking about. I'd like to thank you for coming. Hopefully you get your flight.
Yeah.
That's why we moved her up, is because she's got a flight coming out. Well, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions for the community? Or nope. Thank you, Shelby. Okay, Tony Farley is on deck with a public comment.
Tony Farley from South Sutter County. Thank you, the Star Wars guy, Dan Flores, Star Wars, the Darth Vader, and Mike Ziegler. You have a big tractor factory. Matt Conan, you need to get some internet. Carl Bay's got internet in South City. Carl Bay is near Falls Drive. He got some big house internet. And Nicholas Mitchell, he got internet in Live Oak. McKelly, you got internet in Live Oak. He also ride along with the Live Oak Fire Department. And Zach Campbell, undisclosed location, FEMA bunker in New City. And also the Colonel Marine Corps Colonel, the Colonel. And there's Funny Sheriff, 4-star Sheriff. Deborah with the government town, Sacramento. And Professor Steve Smith, Professor Steve. And Sarah Barrios, SoCal lady. And Dr. Lou, the Harvard lady. Thank you for your service. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Tony. Any other public comment? Seeing none, moving on to consent calendar. Consent calendar groups together those items which are considered non-controversial or which prior policy direction has been given to staff and only require routine action of the board. The chair will advise the audience that the matter may be adopted by one motion. However, the board may, at its option or upon the request of a member of the public, consider any matter separately. I'm looking for a motion. 1 through 13. We have a motion. Roll call, please.
Supervisor McKelly.
Aye.
Supervisor Flores. Aye. Supervisor Ziegemeier. Aye. Supervisor Baines.
Aye.
Supervisor Conant.
Aye. Okay, we have a public hearing, and Annette Wachell will present the item. I might have pronounced it. Go ahead. You guys want to read the item?
Public hearing to consider adoption of a resolution updating the Natomas Basin mitigation fee for 2024 for authorized development under the Natomas Basin Habitat Conservation Plan.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Arwen Watt, Principal Planner with Development Services. As you know, Sutter County and the City of Sacramento are both signatories under the Natomas Basin Habitat Conservation Plan. Under the HCP, Sutter County is allocated 7,467 acres of development within the Natomas Basin. The board established the Natomas Basin mitigation fee in August of 2021 through the approval of Ordinance 1686 and Resolution 21-047, which set the initial fee. Similar to what we are taking forward today, last year the board adopted Resolution 23-033, updating the mitigation fee to its current rate, which is $45,565 per gross disturbed acre when mitigation does not include land dedication component, and $29,815 per gross disturbed acre when the mitigation includes a land dedication component. The Natomas Basin mitigation fee is adopted by both Sutter County and the City of Sacramento. Yearly, the Natomas Basin Conservancy hires a financial consultant to evaluate the costs associated with the implementation of the HCP to determine if the fees are adequate. The Conservancy then takes the evaluation before their board, who then forwards recommendations to both Sutter County and the City of Sacramento. With this recommendation and analysis, they're proposing a fee increase this year, largely due to projected marsh maintenance costs and also restoration and enhancement costs to convert rice acres into managed marsh. And their board has recommended to increase the mitigation fee to $46,000 and $9, which is a 1% increase for disturbed land without land dedication, and to $32,259, which is an 8% increase for gross disturbed acres with land dedication. The City of Sacramento will be taking this action on this fee increase today also, and they anticipate approving the recommendation and the recommended increase on this mitigation fee. Staff recommends that the board take similar action to approve the proposed increase. This concludes my presentation, and staff is available to answer any questions you may have.
Through the chair. Move to approve.
Second.
We're opening a public hearing. Is there any public comment? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Public hearing is closed. Now we'll take the motion, Carm.
So moved.
And Dan?
Second.
Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion first? I was questioning the fee structure went down. What was the total? More than $10,000 decrease per acre?
Are you referring to the cost for land, or no, actually the fee actually increased slightly with dedication to about $444, and then without land dedication went up $444. With land dedication, it went up about $2,000.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions? The board, nothing? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, roll call, please.
Supervisor McKelly?
Aye.
Supervisor Flores?
Aye.
Supervisor Ziegemeier?
Aye.
Supervisor Baines?
Aye.
Supervisor Conant?
Aye. Okay. Thank you, Lindsay.
Presentation on Project Hope.
Lindsay Spencer will be presenting Adventist Health Chief Operations Officer.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm here today to give an update on Project Hope on behalf of the Adventist Health and Ride Out President, Chris Champlin. Thank you. So Project Hope is a project that will build out critical infrastructure to support many community needs, both as medical and behavioral. And these services will be covered under Medi-Cal as well as CalAIM. Just a range of the services are medical recuperative, sobering, short-term post-hospitalization housing, rehabilitation, and supporting spaces. Currently, we're doing 2 phases for Project Hope. So Project Hope Minor, which will be the first phase, and Project Hope Major, which I'll talk about in a second. So Project Hope Minor, we have received $2.5 million to start this. And this will begin, we're in the planning phase, but we'll begin immediately. This will be a 22-bed sobering center. And services, again, will be around a medical recuperative and short-term post-hospitalization housing. And currently, the next steps, we're looking for a project manager to oversee the implementation, but the goal is to have this open by end of year. And then phase 2, this is the larger project. We currently have received $8 million in past grant funds to begin the Project Hope Major, and this is specifically for design and construction. We're currently looking at the old Fremont Hospital, or that is the plan for this to be there. We know that $8 million will not be enough to rehab that facility, but we have until end of next year to draw down those funds. So right now the plan is to start with what we can, and so we're prioritizing those needs with partners. Of course, none of this would be possible without all of our community partners, which is why we felt it's important to go and give updates on the project, because this has been in large part because of many, many partners. So like I said, immediately we're starting with Project Hope Minor, and we'll have open by the end of the year. We're continuing to develop Project Hope Major and evaluate which services will have the greatest impact and we can operationalize immediately, considering the $8 million. And then we're going to continue to look for additional funding, as we know we'll need that to expand the services as well as rehab the Fremont building. So we're dedicated to this project. Like I said, a huge thank you to all the community partners and the grant funding to make this possible. This is a huge need within the community, and we're excited to see where it goes. Any questions?
Through the chair. I applaud you. I think this is excellent. We hear a lot of people bad-mouthing our hospitals here in town, and they're trying to do the very best they can. That's it. They really are. And you look at the individuals. I don't know if any of you have been in that hospital. I've been in there. My dad passed away in that hospital. What I'm getting at it, not by them, but what I'm getting at is just you have so many individuals that with non-life-threatening emergencies going in there and taking up, I hate to say space, or resources. And this is going to pull a lot of those. It's going to help with them not getting all their resources taken up out there. So these are life-threatening emergencies. When you show up to the hospital, you can actually see a doctor in time and so forth, the not so long wait times. So I really hope for the best. I think this is a great idea. We loved this when this first came through. I applaud you for doing this. I'm so excited that you're pushing through it. I loved seeing it in the newspaper last week when Yuba County, when you gave them the pitch on it. So we're excited. It's good stuff. Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
Yeah, nice. I did it, Supervisor Ziegemeier. It's a true honor to partner with Adventist Health and Ride Out in this endeavor. We see the services that, or we see the need in the community and the services that Project Hope is going to provide. So, really excited, and thank you for your commitment to the community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Through the chair.
Go ahead.
So just a question, and this is maybe for you or maybe for a couple of the guys, because I'm not on the real estate committee. How is that all going to work with Fremont Hospital, with that property, and with, I know that part of it is condemned, and so I'm just curious how that's all going to work out, because I know we haven't had discussions about that.
Probably Lindsay could probably answer.
Okay.
Right. I mean, well, basically, you're talking about the entire property. So
well, I don't know. I just don't know how it's going to work.
So they're thinking about using a portion of the existing building and tearing down a portion of the existing building.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Right. No, I saw. Yeah. Okay.
Additional construction later. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
The $8 million won't. I mean, we anticipate we probably would need another 12 to 15 for all of it.
Okay.
We know that.
Well, no, I just want everybody to hear it because we all know about it that part is condemned, and so something has to happen. But I want to make sure that the public knows what's happening there with that. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Through the chair one more time, and whatever we can do to help advocate this along. We have one hospital that serves almost 170,000 people. Just a bridge far. So we need it to be successful and continue, to only get better.
I appreciate your comments around the wraparound services and just really beyond the emergency room, and that's what we see in our community a lot, is just needing those extra services.
Anybody else? Well, go ahead. Go ahead.
You don't have to.
But I wanted to comment just what you said. This is a community Yuba and Sutter County project. And I've said it the other night at the Marysville City Council. It is unheard of to have all city and county, supervisors, city council, everybody's on the same page. We all know we need it, and we're all going to work together to do it. So that, for me, as a community advocate, huge. And I appreciate you for that. So before I start crying.
I was going to bring that up. It's more than just that, though. I mean, you have not only that, but even Sutter County, but you have the Salvation Army, the Yuba-Sutter Health and Human Services, the Sutter Yuba Homeless Consortium, the local health centers, Peachtree, Anthem Health, Harmony Health, law enforcement, and medical. What's that? Yeah, it's everybody come and including BL Air Force Base. I think that's really incredible that we were able to get everybody at the same table at the same time, and I commend you on that as well. Thank you. Any other comments from the board or public?
Thanks, Sarah.
Okay, go ahead. Oh yeah. Oh, sorry, Sarah.
Did I miss a question? I'm so sorry. I wanted to be sure we didn't walk away if you needed any comments from me, but we're happy to be in partnership with Adventist Health Rideout and the rest of the community partners to do this regional healthcare network planning. It definitely will take all of us. And so we're happy they were able to come and give an update on the status, and we'll be continuing to work with them day in and day out on the possibilities. And I'm your Health and Human Services Officer, Sarah Eberhardt-Rios.
Thank you. Well, that's that. So thank you very much, everyone. And next we'll go on to, we have appearance items. Oh, we did that one. Okay, so we have presentation and project. We did that. Okay. Neil Hay, item number 17. What happened to 16?
Adoption of a memorial road sign policy and direction to the road commissioner to provide a public application procedure.
Deal.
Good afternoon. So as you know, my department occasionally receives requests to, potentially dedicate sections of county roadways to maybe deceased members of our community. So in conjunction with the county council's office, they developed a program and kind of a policy document that my department could implement with your board's approval to help us standardize the process for essentially dedicating a portion of a county roadway through an immediate family member making a request through my department, and then we would package that up and bring it before your board for consideration and approval. The program essentially has no cost to the county because it looks to have that the family would essentially pay for the department for the cost of the sign installations, typically either one or two signs, depending if they want them in both directions. And so with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Through the chair. So just quick question. I know we talked about this quite a long time ago, very briefly, and not that there has been anything wrong yet, right? Everybody who has had a road, named for them in memoriam, are good people. I'm want to make sure that we don't get ourselves into a situation where, you know, maybe somebody has committed crimes or something like that. Like maybe there's a policy to be able to vet them somehow, some way, at least just do a background check or look and see if they, you know, I mean, I don't know. I'm just wondering if we can implement that policy just to make sure we're not, you know, embarrassing ourselves and then embarrassing the family, right? Like, I just want to make sure that we thoroughly vet somebody that we're going to do that for as we continue. Can we discuss that maybe in the future? Or
certainly, and the policy actually includes a provision that should someone object to, you know, the installation or the application, that would all be considered at my department level before it be brought before your board.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you. So,
through the chair, okay, so adoption of, are we
do we want to punt on this for a little bit?
Well, I would like to punt on it because I agree with Supervisor McKelly on this.
Create a policy, maybe.
I think it's imperative, yes. I think that only makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't mean to imply that anybody that we've done this for.
Oh no, I agree.
They've all been good. They're all great people that we've done it for. I'm just, you know, and great families. I just want to make sure we don't make that mistake. You know what I mean, in the future. That's all.
Sorry, through the chair.
We continue this.
Yeah, I mean, was there anything in the policy already just before we?
Well, I guess if you'd like to provide some direction to my department as to maybe what you'd like to see reconsidered before we bring it back. So essentially you'd like us to have a component of the policy that would cause us to vet or research the names of the person being considered.
I would think that maybe we could get counsel involved with maybe doing some sort of just a background check or something like that, maybe.
Supervisors, and through the chair, there is language in the policies that says the department retains the authority to remove the memorial signs at any time and for any reason.
Oh.
And so it is important in developing a policy that we make it sort of content neutral in how we evaluate the applications.
Well, we still don't want to make the mistake, though, I think, in my opinion. I don't know what you guys think.
I'll make a motion to table it till the
let's
for what?
I'll second. I'll second.
No background checks on John Sutter, please.
Okay. What do you want, a month, Dan? Background?
Yeah, 1 month would be good.
1 month.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Table.
I second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, I guess.
Supervisor McKelly?
Aye.
Supervisor Flores?
Aye.
Supervisor Zigemeyer?
Aye.
Supervisor Baines?
Aye.
Supervisor Conant?
Aye. Okay.
Thank you.
That's item. Sign policies off. Steve Smith.
Adopt a position opposing AT&T's request to abandon landline responsibility and authorization for the chair to sign a letter of opposition.
Okay.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and Supervisors. Steve Smith, County Administrator. Yes, as stated, AT&T turned in an application to the California Public Utilities Commission to abandon its role as a carrier of last resort for landline service. What this would mean is in some rural areas, the landlines, well, all over, but it primarily impacts rural areas more because of the lack of infrastructure for wireless communications. So over time, AT&T will stop servicing and maintaining landlines, and there's the chance then that in rural areas people will not be effectively able to call emergency services, not call 911. Also, some landlines do work during power outages, so it would take the ability for citizens to rely on their landlines as well. And again, primarily this is related to rural communities like ours, but throughout the state, I know RCRC and CSAC is very concerned about this. This happening. I know Supervisor Zigemeyer has been very passionate about it as well, speaking to us, and we do recommend that we submit the letter in opposition to AT&T's request to the CPUC for consideration.
I'd like to make a couple comments, and then is there any public comment first? And then I'll start. No. Okay. Most of you guys have tried to talk to me on the cell phone more than once at my office or home, and you know how problematic that can be. So I would just like to say I fully support the letter because we do have landlines, and that sometimes is the only way to communicate. I usually have one bar in my house if I'm lucky, and maybe 2 bars outside. So to make a call in the rain and the wind is sometimes not much fun. So I support this, and it's just, public emergencies, if we had a fire or a medical aid, may not be able to use it if we don't have you might be running around trying to find a spot where you have a cell signal.
Through the chair.
Mike, go ahead.
Last week, 10,000 people lost cell phone communication. 10,000. Yet on the news, they said, use a landline in case of emergency. You can't make this up. Use a landline. That's AT&T, Verizon, 10,000 people. Well, in some of my areas, I should just say in some of Sutter County areas, cell phones don't work. And when I mean they don't work, even though you have a cell phone, I know you can call 911. Sometimes they don't work in those areas. You can't even reach out. You have an emergency at school and the power goes out at the high school, the elementary school, and they're trying to call home in that rural community, and there's no landline. What are you supposed to do? I'm adamantly against it. I know my colleagues are as well. Matter of fact, I plan on going to Indio in a few weeks to speak on behalf of opposing this. I think it's ludicrous. I don't think it should even come up, especially when what happened last week happens quite frequently where there's a few thousand or 5,000. It seems like every month there's something goes on where cell phone coverage is lost. We've all been there where our cell phones don't work for 45 minutes to an hour. Well, luckily, nothing's happened in that. And I know not all of us have landlines, but in my house, I do have a landline. I don't have a phone plugged into it, but I do keep it just in case, because you never know. So that's it.
Any other comments? Seeing none, I guess we need a motion.
I make a motion.
Second.
Motion and second by Ziggemeyer and Ann, and all in favor? Roll
Supervisor McKelly?
Aye.
Supervisor Flores?
Aye.
Supervisor Ziggemeyer?
Aye.
Supervisor Baines?
Aye.
Supervisor Conant?
Aye. Okay. Fall reports and announcements. Mike, you want to say it?
Yeah, I'll go. First of all, we'll start out with these volunteer fire department dinner last Saturday night. My colleagues and I were happy to support that. It was really awesome. It was a great dinner. A lot of great stuff. I enjoyed emceeing and helping out with the auctioneering. That was a good time. NorCal Supreme Yuba Elite volleyball teams did pretty great this weekend. They're playing against. We have our 15, 16 teams playing against 18 teams, which is unheard of because there wasn't enough ladies to have an 18 team and a 15, 16, so they put them all together. The girls did great, held their own, very proud of them.
Supervisor?
Yes, sir.
The 14s team as well, due to the quality coaching.
The 14s team, yes. Oh, and you know what? Your daughter volunteers her time to coach on that 14s team. My daughter plays on the 14s team. So it's just really awesome. I love it. Don't know if I love the all day thing from 6 in the morning till 9 o'clock at night, but they're only kids once. So last week, or a couple weeks ago, was World Ag Expo. It's a chance to where we get to go and showcase our equipment in front of the whole world. There's people there from farmers from all over the world. You name it, except for Russia and Ukraine. I don't think anyone was there from there. But actually, I think there was a few. But regardless, it was amazing to see all our awesome equipment from Sutter County there, from like OMC, Nelson Manufacturing, Sweeco. It was just really awesome to see it there. And Lisa Herbert and I were able to check everything out. I want to thank the Tulare Ag Commissioner's Office for allowing me to take part. I held my meeting there for like the 3rd year in a row. That's really awesome. We have our camping trailers right next to Myron L. Company. They're out of Bakersfield. And this year, every year they have a little fundraiser, Pick the Squares. And this year, they called my brother, who's the president of the Volunteer Firefighter Association for the Sutter Station, says, we want to donate the winnings to your volunteer firefighters. So they donated the $1,800 to the Sutter Volunteer Firefighters, so which is really awesome. And I'd like to do a plaque to thank them for that. That's the Myron L. Company out of Bakersfield. It's pretty awesome. First-class people, just amazing. So, like I said, we had the fire. Now it leads me to the sad and somber. C.C. Myers passed away a few weeks ago. C.C. Myers, wow. This guy built bridges, fixed bridges, did everything all over the U.S. Just amazing individual. I actually had the pleasure of spending the weekend with him a couple years ago in Tahoe, and it's just amazing to hear what these guys have to say. And just the stuff. You're probably more familiar because you've been all over, and all the earthquake repair jobs that all over the state. Yeah, just a first-class individual, and one of his vice presidents lives in Sutter, so CC donated a lot to our Sutter schools. So I'd like to do some sort, memory of, for his family that we can hang up there in his office, a nice plaque and for all the kind contributions he's made to Sutter schools. And last night, Shane Bunn passed away, 34 years old. He was killed by a drunk driver in Yuba County. It was heartbreaking. I met Shane about 9 years ago when our kids did cheerleading with each other, and he was an amazing guy, just a kick-butt guy. Died by hands of a drunk driver. It's heartbreaking. He leaves behind a wife and a daughter. It's just absolutely devastating. Just like that. So all I just ask is just make the right choices, make the call. Everyone has people that they can call for a ride home. It doesn't matter what time it is. You don't need money. Just call someone. Borrow a quarter, do whatever, call, collect. Just get that call because it's not worth it. So, or Uber if you got it. But other than that, that's it for me.
Oh, no, fine. I'm fine other than I guess I could mention I'm meeting tonight with the down at the fire station in Pleasant Grove with the Employee Association down there to discuss rural fire funding.
Oh, Matt, I forgot. I'd like to do some sort of plaques for our state qualifiers in high school wrestling. A matter of fact, in your district, the young lady took 7th place. That's the highest qualifier we've had in this area in probably, I think, 15, 20 years. 7th place in the whole state. California is the only state that has one division. All the other states have about 10 different divisions. So when you are that division, 7th place, she is the 7th best in the whole state of California. We're pretty darn big. So that's incredible. So those state qualifiers, I'd like to see them get a plaque.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Things are happening in the 2nd District. We got a lot going on downtown on Plymouth Street. I'm going to have the honor, I guess, the privilege of representing in the Bandits and Bandanas fundraiser for the Sutter Theater of the Arts. So I've been practicing my Southern talk, so I just know like, yee, doggy, I know that's so I've got some pretty good lines. It'd be fun if you want to have a really good laugh, come and watch me try to act like a Western guy, I even have a horse, so just to let you know. So come on out. We're raising money to increase the size of the theater to 300 plus for the audience, and it looks like we're going to have a sold-out crowd on Saturday night at 5:30, and then Sunday we have a matinee at 2 o'clock. So come check it out. Again, if you just want to have a good laugh or just have a good time, appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chairman. No, I don't have too much. I just want to kind of reiterate what Supervisor Ziegemeier said, and it was a really fantastic event Saturday night for the volunteer firefighters, and man, what a huge turnout. And both, Mike and his brother Bobby just did a fantastic job and raised just a ton of money for the fire department. So really proud of that, and it was just a really nice event. So that's all I have. Nothing from District 1 right now.
After hearing the comment of a fellow supervisor, Mr. Ziegemeyer and his trip or experience out at the World Ag Expo, I'd ask for you guys to please reconsider the Farm Fest. The purpose of the Farm Fest was to showcase, our community and what we have here, to bring, exhibitors from all up and down the state to promote agriculture. I mean, we are an agricultural hub here in Sutter County, and I think it's important for everybody to know that that we play an integral role in feeding the world, but again, just to please consider Farm Fest and bringing it to Sutter County. There's no reason why we can't do better than Colusa County does in their farm show, and why we can't go head to head with what they provide there in Tulare.
Through the chair.
Go ahead.
I agree with Supervisor Baines. A matter of fact, I think we need that in the worst possible way now of all times, and we do build some of the world's best agriculture equipment right here in Sutter County. So I'd like to revisit that and bring that to the board the next meeting. We should have everything up and going. Reach out to Carrie Houck if we have to, but I'd like to see Sutter County steer the initiative on this.
Thank you.
Okay.
And real quick, sorry that if I just get one letter of condolences, or simply sent to the family of Keljeet Atwell. Thank you.
That's it? Okay. Thanks, Carm. Just a couple things. I missed your fireman's dinner. I appreciate it. My oldest son got married on Saturday, so that was a great event for us, our family. Been waiting 31 years for that. So I'd like to say that. And then also this Friday we are having an Oroville Dam Citizen Committee meeting in Oroville to review that project again. And I was wondering if we couldn't get we have an individual that applied for the position as an alternate, and I would like that to be researched and brought forward to the board at the earliest possible convenience to seat him. And that was it for me. Thank you.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We didn't have to roll call, did we? Look at her. She doesn't know whether to say yes or no.
Oh, meeting adjourned.
Excuse me, Chair. We do have
Yeah, we have a closed session, though. We're not done yet.
There are 4 closed sessions scheduled for today. The first one is conference with legal counsel, existing litigation. Case name Estate of Linda Miller et al. Versus the County of Sutter et al. Case U.S. District Court, Eastern District of California. Case number 220 CV 00577. KJM DMC, pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9, subsection D, subsection 1. The second closed session is conference with legal counsel, existing litigation. Case name Sacramento Area Flood Control Agency versus Al Property et al. Case Sutter County Superior Court, case number CVCS 23-0001922, pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9, subsection D, subsection 1. The third closed session is conference with legal counsel, existing litigation. Case name Sacramento Area Flood Control Agency versus Odyssey Farms et al. Case Sutter County Superior Court case number CVCS 23-0001921, pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9, subsection D, subsection 1. And the last closed session is evaluation of public employee, position title county counsel, pursuant to Government Code Section 54957, subsection B.
Yuba-Sutter.LIVE's local government live streams are presented by Plumas Lake Self-Storage in Plumas Lake, where lifelong local residents are helping other residents keep things safe, providing indoor storage units, outdoor RV and vehicle parking, moving supplies, and Penske truck rentals. Details at plumaslakeselfstorage.com.
Hi, I'm Neil Goforth of Comfort Keepers of Yuba, Sutter, and Nevada counties. Caring for elders or even yourself has challenges. Comfort Keepers of Yuba, Sutter, and Nevada counties can help you address today's issues and plan for tomorrow. with in-home and specialized care for you or your family members. Call us at 530-749-8800. Comfort Keepers of Yuba, Sutter, and Nevada counties.